All right, you guys, what's going on? Good morning, everybody. This your boy Town Biz. All right, so I got some time, so I thought I'd get a quick morning segment in talking boxing. So we gonna break some things down, some latest news going on in boxing. Some alleged rumors, and then some things that's possibly could happen. So, um, as you guys know, Lamont Roach and his team apparently are appealing the decision. Now, it appears that the WBA retract their statement about Steve Willis' mistake because he did make a mistake. Um, Now, whether the decision will be overturned will be interesting. But I do find it very funny that, Tank is getting this criticism and stuff because I think it's deserved because at the end of the day, I think Tank was being a real coon and stuff, the way he threw Devin under the bus, the way he was attacking Terrence Crawford's wife, because a lot of times Tank was hating on Bud. And there was this thing that I think was orchestrated, and particularly by somebody with the PBC, for them to tear down Terrence Crawford because Terrence Crawford wasn't a PBC fighter and have all these personal attacks. But the funny thing is, none of these dudes would get in the ring with Terrence Crawford when it was relevant to get in the ring with Terrence Crawford. A lot of these dudes was kept from Terrence Crawford. And a lot of people, and particularly the powers that be with the PBC, and you know who I'm talking about, played keep away with those belts. But I saw Ellie Setback basically crying about Lamont Roach saying that he think it's weak that if somebody lawyers up when it pertains to certain situation. Now, here's the thing. You got a problem with the brothers lawyering up, but you didn't say nothing about Ryan Garcia when he tried to countersue Ellie. And that's the problem that I have with you. At the end of the day, you you a Tank Davis nut hugger. I mean, just because you go fetching Skittles for Tank because he asks you to do it, don't mean that everybody else have to suck up the Tank. And for real, who gives a fuck what you think? At the end of the day, you're not taking punches. And whatever the situation is, if a fighter feels like he have the right to sue, or he could sue, or he should sue, then that's his right. It's funny. I guarantee you, if Lamont Roach seen you and basically laid his grooming hands on you, I bet you would try to sue. So don't try to play no games. And I know people gonna say I'm clout chasing, and I'm gonna say something else. That word clout chasing is used too much as well. It's certain situations where you can say somebody is clout chasing. I'm not clout chasing Ellie Setback, and that's just real talk. I'm just just stating the facts. Because Tank had been on some BS for a minute. Now, that's funny that the dude that he was protecting, defending, saying that he didn't take steroids when Ryan Garcia clearly got caught, basically threw him under bus saying that he should have a loss. And I find that rather amusing. I really do. It is very amusing that Ryan didn't back him up. But, so much for that black and brown alliance that never existed. But nevertheless, it isn't about that. I was just thinking that maybe Tank may have needed a reality check because he was the one talking about retirement and all this stuff. And then basically he had that performance that he had. Now that Tank is under fire because a lot of people are saying that they believe that he lost that fight. Everybody, from Steve Kim to Dan Rafael and a lot of other people thought he lost that fight. I thought he lost that fight. The people that watched the fight thought he lost that fight. And that's what happens when you sitting up here possibly thinking about the next fight. You need to be worried about the fight that's going on at hand. You need to be worried about the opponent that you facing in the ring. And maybe he was looking too far ahead of Roach. And then Roach goes in there and basically exposes some vulnerabilities with Tank. So now we're like, okay, now we see some kinks in Tank's armor that could possibly be exploited by an even better You know what I'm saying? Defensive-minded fighter, counterpuncher than Lamont Roach. I see some things that Keyshawn could exploit. I see some things that Shakur could exploit. I see some things that Devin could exploit. You know, at the end of the day, Tank got away with calling a timeout because you can't call a timeout. He took a knee. He stopped the fight. Tank should have lost that fight via disqualification or TKO because he stopped the action. He got a pass. But I heard that the WBA has retracted their statement because they looking biased towards Tank. So they look stupid. And then you got people trying to circumvent boxing rules. And then you got Ellis trying to make excuses for what happened. Listen, man, and you can send this to Coach. Listen, man, we know how it works. There is no excuse you can make to justify Tank calling a timeout. And then it didn't even look like the towel went over his eye, because if he really had something in his eye, you would have seen him like rub the towel like a little bit into his eye to try to get the so-called sweat and grease. And then Tank lied about when he got his hair done and all this kind of stuff, and he told a bold-faced lie. And then I'm laughing at the fact that people are sitting up here like trying to protect Tank and talk about, well, he sells tickets, the biggest gate. What do that have to do with him losing that fight? For real. What the fuck do that have to do with what happened in the fight? Oscar used to sell. Oscar was a draw. Okay? So what do that have to do with him losing that fight or the referee not doing his job? And the funny thing is, you Tank fans can't sit up here and accuse us of racism because Steve Willis is black and Tank is black. So you can't do that. And you can't say, people just hate Tank. Listen, we can say whatever we want to say about Tank. We ain't got to watch what we say about Tank. I just found that just rather amusing. So it's just a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff going on. The New York State Athletic Commission, they have to get it right. They have to get it right. And I think the right thing to do is order an immediate rematch, overturn the fight, and reward Lamont Roach a TKO victory or a disqualification. Either way, Lamont Roach should win that fight. It's as clear as day. And like I said, ain't nobody worried about Ellie sat back crying, talking about people lawyer up, look soft to him. Ellie, please stop it. You would never get in the ring and do what these fighters do and take a punch. Like I said, just because Tank have you fetching Skittles for him, have you going out fetching Skittles for him, doesn't mean that we have to sit up here and agree with what you say. Like I said, it's always us that's told not to sue anybody. No matter what happens to a black person, we're told not to sue. Hey, the police gun us down. Hey, don't sue. That looks weak. They always try to play these psychological games with black people and try to make us feel bad. Nobody called Oscar De La Hoya soft when he tried to sue Ryan Garcia, when he threatened legal action against him. So let me get this straight. Only black people are not allowed to sue. Hey, man, just stop it. Please stop it with this bullshit. We the only ones that just told. I told you, Kevin Samuels wasn't lying. Shout out to Kevin Samuels. We the only ones that's told to just take it. Don't do nothing. If you do something, you look weak. You look weak. Who gives a damn what you think, Ellie? For real. If Lamont Roach want to protest the decision, he has every right. Talking about that look weak to him, whoever look. Ellie, shut up, dude. For real. You sound ridiculous. But let me move on to the next subject. We'll continue all this talk later on. So apparently this particular event, Fatal Fury, is starting to look more questionable as we get more intel about what's going to go on. So apparently this fight, as you guys know, is going to be in Times Square. It's going to be an open door event. There will be no gate. You can watch the fight for absolutely free. But however, around the ring area, they're going to distribute allegedly 300 tickets. Now, who's going to get those tickets? That's the key question. How the media is going to cover this event, that's the key question. When I have all the information, I will relay the information to y'all. But I plan on going to cover that fight. But if I start to hear stuff that I don't like, then I may have to reconsider, because my main thing is safety. Safety. So my concern is safety. So that's what I'm worried about. So who gets those 300 tickets? I don't know. And then I already spoke on the Dana White situation. I'm going to say this again about Dana White. Dana White needs to understand boxing is totally different from UFC. You're not going to be able to just tell somebody that they got to fight this dude and they going to fight that dude. And you, like I said, you think you're going to pay these people peanuts, because they're going to tell you to go to hell, Dana. So I hope you understand that. And nobody's going to pay attention to you. Just because your last name is White don't mean that you're going to be able to have your way with these boxers. So you need to remember that. But anyway, you guys, we will continue this talk later on. It's your boy Town. I'm out.